Wait a minute. Did CT really make another YouTube video? In 2022? In this economy? Well met, YouTube. CT Animator here with my first PvP dedicated Elden Ring video. Post commentary as well, that's very new. Wrote a script for these invasions you're seeing here. That way you don't hear a bunch of ums. Making my way over to the cliffside to try and get an overview of where the host and furled finger are. The dragon and the lake spawned in, so didn't think they were too far away. If memory serves, they should be right under this cliff edge. Yep, right down there. Hello, boys. Gave them a quick little wave.
Hey!
Let them know I'm up here. Well, while I'm up here, waiting for the host and the furrowed finger to come up and see me, I should probably explain why I've been gone for so long. So, long story short, I didn't particularly enjoy the process of making videos, or the fact that I couldn't respond to anybody in real time. Like, seeing someone in the stream chat say something, and then reacting to it, as opposed to getting a comment on a video, getting a notification of it, and then going back to respond to it, kind of felt mad to me. So I just stuck with Twitch streams for a while. The chat tends to enjoy a lot of my reactions and how things tend to get really dicey when my reaction's coming out as well, so that's a plus. The prospect of being struck down by YouTube with $42,000 copyright claims kind of deterred me as well, so that's also a thing. Going up against a warrior and a samurai that managed to get a second Uchigatana from what I can tell. Not too much damage from both sides. And that's because we're at level 10, so not really expecting a lot of damage from my opponents, and not too much from myself. If you took a look at the stream VOD I posted the other day, you would have seen this build getting put together. I'm working with a dual wielding setup, power stancing for the Soulsborne series it seems. I have two falchions, both at Fire Infuse and at +2. Three falchions, really. Left hand has double slash. My right hand is either sword dance, like I'm using in this fight, or quick step in my inventory in case I have some stronger filled fingers in the fight. Double slash has been pretty helpful against the more 1v1-ish scenarios in the fights. Double slash will let me have a bit of AoE. Not a whole lot, but just enough that two people against me can get hit. Snuck into Red Maiden Castle and found the Whetstone Blade for Fire and Flame Infusion to get this out. GG to the host summon there. And R2, I have a Fire Infused Misericord with Determination, and in left 2, composite bow. Both are +2 as also. The cursed scimitars have been really effective with their running attack. I enjoy their bit of speed, because I've always enjoyed speed over power when it comes to fighting games. And when it comes to RPGs like the Soulsborne series and Elden Ring here, that's no exception. Me and Brumhilda sitting at a bit of a standstill, walking back and forth like this. At this point, we're kind of just gauging each other. I believe that Brumhilda here was out of heals at this point. Me just bouncing around like a batshit insane person, trying to figure out how we're going to do this. Yep, sure enough, I remembered that they should have had two scimitars. So, looks like they're just trying to gauge how they feel. Demonstrating the power stance mechanic. Oh, and just in case people didn't realize it, curved swords still have their little backflip that they had back in DS3. It's just not part of the forward R1 now. It's yep, that was yep, there's the last flask. Give them a quick bow, letting them know a good fight to you. I'm gonna be collecting my pay soon. I cannot for the life of me remember why I decided to start punching them. Seeing as they were using a light shield base warrior class, so they don't have the strongest shield. So I'm even punching, I'm still getting chipped. But GG Brunilda. I don't know why I went BM there and started punching them, but we're here now. I went with the Vagabond for this build since it had the highest vigor out of the selectable classes. It starts off at level 9, however, so I could only put one more point into my stats for level 10. The extra point went straight into vigor, so 16 right off the bat. I kept on my gauntlets and greaves from the start, but went out to grab the bandit mask and champion's pauldrons for my current fashion. I mean, you can't expect to go into combat looking like a hot mess. That's why I also have the ring that turns me from a red blink to my actual appearance. I also grabbed the Radagon Sword Seal while I was out about. I wasn't initially planning to use it, but I couldn't resist 20 free stat points for a low-level build like this. Oh, speaking of, I failed to mention that this build is going to be constantly evolving. Every 10 levels, I'm changing the focus of the damage stat. So right now we're at 10, and I decided that at 10 I was going to start with strength. That's kind of why I have my weapons infused with fire. The fire infusion scales with strength, but in contrast with like heavy, I don't lose my scaling for my dex. It gets weaker, but I don't lose it. Once I hit level 20, then I'm going to be swapping over to Dex, and that's probably going to be after another level 10 invasion stream. But I'm still trying to decide on how I want to run the level 20 bracket. I don't know if I want to use the ornamental straight swords that I got from the Grafted Scion boss at the start of the game, or if I want to do something that's more than likely going to take a lot more time to get ready, and that's working with 2 lightning-infused thrusting swords. Intelligence, that's going to be at level 30. Faith at 40. Arcane at 50. After that, I'm going to be doing dual stat builds. So, for example, level 60, that's going to be the old tried and true quality with strength and dex. Then we have strength intelligence at 70. Hopefully you're getting a good grasp on where this is going. Enough of that though, we're back in another invasion, and we are up against a knight, and it looks to be some sort of pyromancy cell sword. It took me a little while to realize that our knight here, our knight summon, he's been fat rolling this entire time, and well, you gotta learn somehow that fat rolling is gonna get you killed, so sword dance is able to get the roll catch and kill the Sleezo. That's a name I was not expecting. But Allah, another sword dance does quite a bit of damage through the shield. And then because our host decided not to back up and regain their stamina, we guard broke them with the first half of the second sword dance, and then again killing them with the damage of the second. So GG's to them. Invasion number 3 in the dead of night around Limgrave. I wasn't expecting the host to be by those pus slugs in the lake. For a moment I had thought that he was by himself and used a Taunter's Tongue for whatever reason. I started to believe he used one and was just killing slugs to kill time until invaders showed up. That quickly changed though. This Finger came over the rock and started popping shots at me. Now, had Maga been a higher level, then he probably would have killed me in less shots with higher tier spells. I'm not used to contending with casters yet in Elden Ring, so this was going to be good practice. Early game sorcerers aren't too fast, however. They get stronger and attack faster if you charge them, but I wasn't planning to give our sorcerer summoning hero that luxury. I'm not surprised that these two are kinda low on max hit points either. They both seem to be fresh characters and new players altogether. Seeing as they were new, neither of them seemed to realize that being in the water was to their advantage. One more hit would take the sorcerer down at this point, so I tried to go for a quick shot with my bow. That was kind of just wasting time at this point though. Our sorcerer here was on survival panic roll mode, so every shot I tried to go for was missing. Now, had I tried to be more patient, I probably could have killed, but at this point I just decided to go for my running attacks to try and take him down. Sorcerer goes down eventually, so now it's just me and Indra BR. I wasn't sure if that meant he was playing from Brazil, or if he was just representing for Brazil. But that's neither here nor there. Sword dance into a roll catching R1, and we secure the win. And now we're a flag. Last invasion of the video, we've got a samurai and an impressively stylish Finger. If you guys hadn't noticed, I decided to not be the aggressor in these early level invasions. If I just go in guns blazing and kill immediately, then that would have left a poor taste in my mouth. It also might have been a lackluster experience for any of the players that I encountered. I didn't want to potentially dissuade someone from playing more just because I wanted to get a win under my belt. So, I waited until they struck me before attacking, because that means they accepted that either they win the invasion, or I win. The consequences at that point was laid out on the table, and whoever wins, wins. Now, this Finger Bismo had an impressive arsenal behind them. They seemed to have been quite a high level, as they were using the Millennia's Katana, which needs a substantial amount of dexterity points to wield to begin with. They were also casting the Scarlet Rot Dragon Breath earlier, so they clearly had faith in arcane points too. Bismo swapped over to the Holy Order Greatsword and was casting the Frozen Greatsword Sorcery, but that's also strength and intelligence. We had a jack of all trades build to contend with, so they had far more options than I did. For the most part, I was holding my own against these two. Obviously, with the added help of the mob nearby. So, it seemed like it was initially an even fight, both sides not wanting to extend too much while making sure to have a plan. And by this point, my plan was to swap to my bow and hope to start peppering Bismo with some poison arrows. At least until I went for an inopportune arrow shot and Bismo came in with a waterfall dance. It was once an even fight, now it's an uphill battle. I don't have any more juice in my Crimson Flask. I still have my mixture, but I don't think I used it unfortunately. Bismo was still the more dangerous target, so I was fixated on taking them out, or else this invasion was as good as over. Samurai Jack, whose name I just now actually paid attention to in post, was doing a good job interrupting my attacks. It had put me into a panic and made my tunnel vision worse, and that inevitably caused my defeat, as I did a running attack into a Great Swords R1 and an Unsheep R2 in my back. If you were expecting nothing but wins, then I apologize, but you'll be seeing losses as well. When next we meet, I will most likely be level 20, and we will return with a focus on dexterity. Take it easy, everyone.